Right now, you keep doing the same thing with girls without even knowing it. And it's the reason you keep losing respect, losing attraction, and feeling confused about what went wrong. You think you're being kind, caring, available. You think you're doing what you're supposed to do. But from her side, she's seeing something very different. She's seeing hesitation. She's seeing emotional dependence. She's seeing a guy who needs her more than he respects himself. And every time you do that, her respect for you drops. You don't see it directly. She doesn't tell you, hey, I'm losing respect for you. It shows up in small ways, slower replies, less effort, more distance, more attitude, less interest. And you stand there wondering what changed, when the truth is this: you broke first. She is always reading you, not in some planned way. It's automatic. Every reaction, every message, every silence tells her something about you. It tells her if you can handle pressure, or if you fold the second you feel uncertain. When you are around a girl, she is constantly picking up signals. The way you walk, how you sit, how you speak, how fast you respond, how you handle it when she is cold, distant, annoyed, or quiet. All of that tells her if you're a man she can respect, or someone she can keep around only until something better shows up. And here's the part most men never understand. She notices the tiny things you think don't matter. You hesitate before you speak. You get nervous and rush your words. You say something and then instantly correct yourself because you're afraid she won't like it. She stores that. You look away first every time there's eye contact. You fidget. You can't stay relaxed. She stores that. You hear a tone in her message and your mood changes. You go from calm to worried. You start overthinking and your whole energy shifts. She stores that too. None of this is about being perfect. It's about whether you can stay grounded when you feel pressure. That is what she is testing. Even if she doesn't consciously think, I'm testing him right now. Her instincts just do it. And you keep failing those tests without even realizing there was one. You have been taught that relationships are about being nice, being soft, always proving that you care. So when she pulls away, you show more care. When she gets quiet, you try harder. When she seems upset, you chase reassurance. It feels right to you. It feels polite. It feels romantic. But to her, it looks weak. Because from her perspective, the second her mood controls you, she becomes the strong one, and you become the follower. That's when everything flips. The moment she senses you are more emotionally invested than she is, she relaxes. Not in a good way. She relaxes because she feels safe to do less. She knows you'll keep showing up no matter what she does. And once she sees that, respect drops. Once respect drops, attraction follows. And once that's gone, it almost never comes back. You've seen this play out in your own life. You start talking to someone, things feel great, she's engaged, playful, interested. Then you begin to like her more. You text more. You think about her more. You start adjusting your plans. You start checking your phone more often. You become more available. Slowly, she changes. Replies get shorter, energy drops. You feel it. And instead of slowing down, you push even harder. You keep checking in. You ask if something is wrong. You send extra messages when she doesn't reply. You try to prove you're serious. In your head, you're fixing things. In her head, she's seeing just how attached you really are. That's when you lose her. You tell yourself you are just being caring. You convince yourself that good guys try harder. But chasing like that is not care. It's emotional dependence. And dependence repels respect. Look at the men she is drawn to long term, not the short little crushes. The ones she actually respects. It's never the guy who is glued to his phone waiting for her next message. It's never the one who drops everything as soon as she calls. It's the guy who has a life. With or without her, she is drawn to the man who moves forward, who stays focused, who doesn't fall apart when she gets distant, who doesn't let her emotions decide his emotions. That is what presence. Presence is not being loud, not being arrogant, not acting tough. Presence is simple. You are there, you are calm, you are in control of yourself no matter what she does. Most men have never trained this. Since childhood, you've been taught to look for approval. Be polite, be nice, don't upset anyone, keep everyone happy. That conditioning shows up in dating. You try to prove you're safe, prove you're kind, prove you're not like other guys. You overshare, over-explain, and overgive. You think, if I just show her how serious I am, she'll choose me. What she actually feels is, if he was really that valuable, he wouldn't need to convince me. People don't value what has to fight for a chance. People value what stands strong on its own. When you chase, you tell her your value depends on her response. Read that again in your head. When you chase, you tell her your value depends on her response. And once that message lands, you are done. Now look at the opposite. You still care, you still show effort, but you don't try to control her reaction. You don't panic when energy changes. You don't explode emotionally when you feel insecure. You notice the feeling, but you don't let it run the show. This is emotional control, and this is the foundation of everything. Emotional control is not about being cold. It's not about being a robot. It's about this: you feel everything, but your decisions aren't ruled by fear, anxiety, or neediness. When she gets quiet, you feel the urge to push for answers. but you stay still. When she takes longer to reply, you feel the urge to double text, but you don't. When she seems distant, you feel the urge to fix it immediately, but you hold your ground and give space. That is strength she can feel. That is what makes her think, he's not controlled by me. He is controlled by himself. She might not say that in words, but the feeling is there. And that feeling is respect. Now, here's the part most guys completely misunderstand. Her pulling away is often not the end. It's a check. Distance is one of the most common ways she sees what you're made of. She slows down her effort. She becomes less responsive. She waits. She watches. She is seeing if you stay stable or if you fall into panic. Most men panic. The moment they sense something is off, they start doing the opposite of what works. They increase availability. They start justifying themselves. They write long messages. They ask where they stand. They try to fix the problem when the real problem is that they started acting from fear. And from her perspective, that fear says one thing: he needs me more than he needs his own standards. Women do not respect a man who abandons his own standards just to keep her. It feels nice for a short moment. She might enjoy the attention, the compliments, the effort. But deep down, she knows this. If her mood can control you, life will control you too. She wants to see if you can hold steady when there is confusion, when things aren't clear, when there is tension. Because real life will bring all of that at some point. If you collapse under small emotional pressure early on, how could she trust you when real problems show up? So when she pulls away, the worst thing you can do is start performing. You don't need to do more. You need to stop acting from emotion. When energy changes, your job is simple. You stop initiating for a while. You stay polite when she reaches out, but you don't rush. You keep your routine. You stick to your training, your work, your plans. You put your attention back on your life, not on chasing an answer. You will feel resistance inside when you do this. Your body will want to react. Your mind will start writing stories. She's done with me. I'm losing her. I need to act now. This is the moment that separates weak behavior from strong behavior. A weak man moves based on those thoughts. A strong man notices them and still chooses his standards. The strong man thinks more like this: if she wants to stay in my life, she will. If she doesn't, I will be okay. I'm not going to abandon myself just to fix her temporary distance. That mindset is what makes him attractive in every area, not just dating. Think about the men who always seem to have options. It's not just looks. It's not just money. Plenty of good-looking guys get disrespected. Plenty of rich guys get walked over. The real difference is emotional independence. He is not desperate for anyone's attention. He can enjoy it, but he doesn't chase it. He can care about someone, but he doesn't melt the second they withdraw. He can love deeply, but he doesn't throw his self-respect away when things get hard. Now, if you feel like you've already messed this up, you're not alone. Most men only learn this after they've already lost respect at least once. Maybe you begged for a second chance. Maybe you sent long emotional messages. Maybe you tried to explain yourself over and over. Maybe you kept showing up for someone who had already checked out. Maybe you accepted disrespect because you thought any attention is better than none. All that does is train her to see you as replaceable. Because the moment she realizes you will stay no matter how she treats you, she knows she has full control. And when she feels that, she doesn't feel admiration. She feels boredom. She feels nothing to lose. And people are careless when they feel nothing to lose. So how do you turn things around? You do not regain respect by chasing it. You regain respect by changing how you move. You pull your energy back. You stop flooding her with attention. You stop reacting to every change in her mood. You stop answering instantly every time she reaches out. You stop explaining your worth with words and start showing it with your life. You don't announce this. You don't make speeches about how you have changed. You just change. You become busy with your growth. You go to the gym with consistency. You upgrade your appearance. You improve your body language. You invest in your skills. You take your career, your studies, your money seriously. You surround yourself with people who respect you and challenge you. Your days become full of priorities that matter. You no longer have hours free to sit and overthink one message or one story she posted. That version of you who was available 24/7 simply does not exist anymore. When she notices distance from you now, it's not forced. It's real. You are actually busy. You actually have a purpose beyond her. You are actually building something that doesn't revolve around her attention. That is when her perception starts to shift. She feels that her role in your life changed. She is no longer the center. She is a part, not the whole. And whether she reacts to that or not, the important part is this: you have reclaimed your own respect. If she tries to come back, you are no longer the same person. You don't instantly drop everything. You don't rush to entertain her. You don't hand over all your attention again. You set standards. You protect your peace. You decide if her behavior matches your values. If she doesn't come back, you still win. Because the work you are doing on yourself is not for her. It's for you. And it will change how every future girl sees you. You become a man who is hard to ignore, not because you are loud or flashy, but because you are clear. Clear in your actions, clear in your boundaries, clear in your direction. A man like that doesn't need to post quotes about strength. He doesn't need to talk about how high value he is. People feel it when they are around him. You show up on time. You keep your word. You don't gossip. You don't whine. You handle your responsibilities. You control what you can. Your body, your money, your focus, your emotions. That kind of consistency makes you stand out more than any line, any trick, any strategy ever could. Now let's talk about exactly what to do when she pulls away, because this is where most guys collapse. You start to sense the shift, less enthusiasm, more distance, slower replies, shorter calls. You feel the difference immediately. Here is what a weak reaction looks like. You start sending more messages. You ask what's wrong over and over. You apologize even when you did nothing wrong. You break your own plans the second she gives you a little bit of attention. You bring up where this is going when the connection is already fading. All of that is driven by fear of loss, and fear of loss makes you lose faster. Here is what a strong reaction looks like instead. You match her energy. You do not initiate for a while. You give space without tension. You keep your schedule exactly the same. You refuse to chase emotional clarity from someone who is pulling away. You are calm if she reaches out. You reply, but you don't pour out your feelings. You don't act cold to try to punish her. You are just normal. Warm, but not intense. Present, but not chasing. This is neutral strength. If she wants to see you again, you don't jump to the earliest possible time. You choose a time that fits your life. You do not reward distance with your maximum effort. If she questions why you've been less available, the mindset is simple. You have a life. You've been busy. You have things to do. You're not playing a role. You just aren't waiting around anymore. This is how you remove the idea that she can control you with distance. When she sees that her silence doesn't cause you to collapse, it changes the whole dynamic. And if she never reaches out, you still don't collapse. You accept it. You let it go. You don't stalk her pages. You don't check every day. You don't drag the story in your head for months. You let that chapter close and you move on with dignity. That dignity is what keeps your self-respect alive. And self-respect is the foundation of attraction. Now we need to talk about chasing, because this is where almost everyone gets stuck. You've been told that if you really care, you should pursue hard. You should fight for her. You should do whatever it takes not to lose her. That sounds romantic, but it destroys attraction when you do it in the wrong context. There is a difference between showing interest and chasing. Showing interest is simple. You text, you invite, you show effort, you give attention, but you also read the response and adjust. If effort is balanced, you continue. If effort drops, you pull back. Chasing is when you ignore reality. She's cold, you keep pushing. She barely replies, you send more. She cancels plans, you offer 5 more alternatives. You keep trying to convince her to see your value when her actions show she doesn't. The second you start chasing, you send one clear message. My time and emotion are cheaper than yours. I will keep giving, even when you are not. Once she feels that, you drop in value in her mind. Because if you truly were a man other people want, you wouldn't act like someone who has no other options. This is why the men who care the least always seem to have the most options. It's not that they actually care less about people. It's that they care more about their own standards than about any one specific person's approval. They don't beg. They don't force. They don't double text 5 times in a row. They don't push when someone clearly has low interest. They redirect that energy into themselves and into people who show real effort back. You need that same mindset. If you feel yourself starting to chase, pause. Look at the situation clearly. Ask yourself simple questions in your head. Is her effort anywhere near mine? Has she shown she actually wants to be here? Am I trying to control her feelings with my actions? Am I scared to lose her more than I am scared to lose myself? If the answers are off, step back. Not to play a role, not to manipulate, but to protect your own value. A woman respects a man who can walk away from one-sided situations, not because he is heartless, but because it shows he has a line he does not cross. That line is important in every area. If you allow disrespect, you teach people to disrespect you. If you allow flackiness, you teach people to treat you as a backup. If you allow constant mood swings to control you, you teach people that your emotions are not stable. But you set limits, quiet ones. You don't argue about them. You just live them. If she repeatedly cancels, you stop inviting. If she constantly disrespects your time, you give her less access to it. If she ignores you unless she's bored, you remove yourself completely. No speech, no drama, just action. Now let's talk about becoming a man she truly cannot ignore. This is not about posting quotes, not about acting distant on purpose, not about fake confidence. It is about building a life so strong that you naturally move differently. You prioritize your body. You stay active. You train. You eat better. Your posture improves. Your energy improves. You walk into rooms differently because you actually feel stronger. You prioritize your money. You take your work seriously. You learn skills. You make plans. You don't waste entire days scrolling and complaining. Your sense of direction grows, even if you're not where you want to be yet. You prioritize your mind. You read. You learn. You watch content that helps you grow. You cut back on mindless distractions. You stop filling every quiet moment with noise. You start thinking about your future, not just the next message. You prioritize your social life. You spend time with friends. You meet new people. You talk to more women, not to play around, but to understand that you have options while you grow. When you live this way, your time becomes valuable, even to you. You stop giving it away so easily, and that instantly changes how others respond to you. Now, when a girl meets you, she feels something different. You're not glued to your phone. You don't rush to reply within seconds. You don't wait all day for her plans. You fit her into a schedule that already exists. You become a man with momentum, and momentum is attractive. She will notice that you don't make her the center of your world. At first, this may confuse her, especially if she's used to men orbiting around her. But over time, it creates a feeling of respect. She sees that you can say no. She sees that you can stick to your commitments. She sees that you do not drop your mission just because she texts you. That is the kind of man a woman can actually admire. And even if she tries to test you, you don't lose this structure. If she gets moody, you stay calm. If she pulls away, you stay on your path. If she gives attitude, you do not match it. You respond like an adult, or you remove yourself. You are not rigid. You can listen. You can talk things out, but you never let emotional chaos become normal. That is what "I refuse to break" really means. It doesn't mean you never feel anything. It means you will not break your standards, your mission, or your self-respect because you are scared to lose one person. It means you will not beg for attention. You will not chase when effort is one-sided. You will not accept this request just to avoid being alone. You would rather rebuild your life from zero than stay in a situation where you are constantly disrespected. The men who live this way are the ones who, over time, win. They win in relationships because they attract women who respect them. They win in life because their emotions do not control every decision. They win in self-respect because deep down, they know they did not abandon themselves. You are not stuck as the version of you who chased, who begged, who over-explained. That version can end today. You start by doing one thing. Stop breaking first. When you feel that urge to overreact, pause. When you feel that urge to send that extra message, don't. When you feel that urge to clear things up right now, because you are anxious, let time pass instead. Give yourself space to respond from strength, not from panic. From there, every day, you build your body. You build your skills. You build your confidence. You build your standards. And as all of that grows, your behavior with women changes naturally. You don't have to act. You don't have to pretend. You will genuinely feel less desperate. And that is what makes you calm. The truth is simple. Girls respect the man who respects himself. They are drawn to the man who does not collapse under emotional pressure. They remember the man who can walk away from disrespect without creating a scene. So if you are done being overlooked, done being ignored, done feeling weak, then make a quiet decision for yourself. From this point on, you refuse to break. You refuse to break your standards. You refuse to break your focus. You refuse to break your self-respect just to keep someone who does not value it. You build yourself into a man who is stable, focused, and grounded. The kind of man who is not controlled by other people's moods. The kind of man who can care deeply but still walk away when respect is gone. When you become that man, everything about your dating life changes. The way girls react to you changes. The way you react to yourself changes. And the best part is, you don't need permission from anyone to start. You just start.